So Robert O'Keefe, senior principal at TVS. I was the lead design principal on the project. I've been at the firm for 26 years, and of that tenure, I've worked on more than a dozen convention center projects, both large and small. And I think what part of that process too is I've also worked on different types of projects, including office buildings, hospitality, hotels, and even education projects. And I think what's a differentiator with our firm is that we're able to touch not only convention centers, but other different markets and leverage the trends and how those project types are evolving and apply those to the convention center. So a great example of that is on the Baird Center, in incorporating how innovation districts and education projects are leveraging and creating designable spaces for creating accidental collisions, and how we apply that thought process and integrating it in a design solution into the actual convention center. So again, another example of that is how we introduced a collaborative stair inside the convention center that was truly building from what the education projects are doing. The Baird Center Expansion was an expansion of existing facility, and the program was very complicated, and there was a lot of program to fit in a small footprint. So we really had to stack the program. And the original building had a layout that the status quo, or the easy thing to do, would just mirror that same layout programmatically on that new footprint and new site. We wanted to flip the script a little bit. So what we did, instead of locating the ballroom on the ground level, which again the existing facility has, that just looked onto a tunnel, essentially a street, we decided to take that ballroom and place it on the roof. And what that did is actually do a couple things. One, it took a very important space in the convention center and put it in a more prominent space with immaculate views of downtown. And what it also did is create a void that then we can fill in with parking, which was actually not part of the original program. And the director and the owner loved that because it was now a revenue stream that they didn't even have in their pro forma from the beginning. So holistically, our ability to think outside the box and think a little creatively on how to restack the program of how it was originally perceived really created an asset to the owner, to the city, that wasn't part of the original project concept. Yeah, so we approach these projects, we really truly want it to be a timeless asset for the community and the city. In a lot of ways, when we expand on an existing facility, we really have to think through a little harder on how we approach the design and the overall focus of the building. And so in this case, we were actually part of the original design of the Wisconsin Center, but when we expanded on it and take a more of a modern approach to the aesthetic and the building, we have to be respectful of the original building. In this scenario, what we did is be mindful of the massing. So we didn't want to have, with a new building that was a very tall structure, for it to overwhelm the existing structure. So we made mindful steps of positioning some of the massing, specifically the ballroom, and pushing those facades back so you feels less massive in relationship to the existing building. So I think that's these type of moves that we like to incorporate, that is respectful of the past, the historical building, and looks towards the future as far as a civic landscape and overall how it reflects with the neighboring buildings and the overall fabric of the city. When we approach the design of a convention center and a project of this magnitude, they are very important civic structures in an existing city. And we don't want to take an approach that this design can live anywhere on the planet. We really want to be true to the area, to the history, and to the environment that it's in. So at the very beginning, we did a lot of research and did a lot of listening to understand from the client what is their true goals, and understand the actual, how did the city come to fruition, and the history of the city. So when we look at the design, we did start to fold in some of the concepts of ice structures and the fluidity of water, both internally and externally of the building design, and also incorporating some of the history of the fabric of the city, how it was built. So the industry that was built, the steel industry. And so incorporating some of those elements into the facade and into the interior design was part of our goal. In our approach, we really wanted to introduce the idea of it being as transparent as possible, and also eroding away at the building enclosure to create outdoor spaces that then are activated and make the building feel more alive. So we offset the glass and the building enclosure in every elevation. So on the ground level, on upper levels, to introduce balconies and different size of civic spaces at different elevations of the building. So the building really becomes live when it's being occupy. On dark days where convention centers historically can get very stagnant and cold, we did introduce thoughts of creating what we called outdoor living rooms. So we pulled back the building facade to create nooks and little intimate spaces at a civic level at the public realm, then becomes a amenity and a space that the public can use even when the building's not in use. So when we approach these projects, it's humbling that we are part of such an important project for a city and a state. And when it's complete and we see it vibrant and we see it succeed, it's just an amazing experience. And we don't hold that lightly. But beyond just the aesthetics of it, we want it to operate and it function the way it should. And it needs to check all the boxes that the owner is when they're approaching this project, both programmatically and how it succeeds, financially and just as a community asset. So we really take a lot of pride in understanding every piece of that. In fact, we design these projects inside out, so we want to make sure it's functioning before we can get to the aesthetic and how the building looks from the outside. It needs to operate and need to function for the owner to be able to succeed. So we take a lot of importance in that, and is usually the top of our list. So what really resonates with us and resonates with me personally is after the project's complete and they were able to be as successful as the ultimate goal of the fruition of the project. So in this expansion, we were able to add 112,000 square feet of exhibit hall to the existing 188. So a total of 300,000 continuous exhibit hall square feet. This expansion positions the center to be more competitive and attract more events. So in the initial 12 months of the expansion and opening, they hosted 192 events, 422,000 attendees, and generated economic impact of $174 million. These are stats that we get excited about and are very thankful that we were part of the project and able to leverage this facility to be competitive in their same market.